Jeff, the host of the Gridiron.
Fourth and goal to go with the 2. 34 seconds left to go in the ball game. This is the play right now. Takes the snap. Targeted goes in. Targeted all alone. And the quarterback keeps. Wow, what a call. Nobody touched him.
All right, baby. Nobody touched them. Welcome to the Gridiron. If you can give this video a thumbs up and maybe share this video, that would be absolutely freaking phenomenal. If you subscribe to my channel, thank you. If not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon. That way next time I go live or if I put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge. What do you got to lose? It's totally free of charge. But if you are subscribed to my channel, thank you. If you want to help support my channel, description box below, very top link takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. Each one has their own little perks to them. So if you want to help support my channel, it would mean so much to me, and I thank you in advance. And then finally, just underneath that, there's another link in there somewhere. It takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. We have over 9,600 members in the group. It is doing simply marvelous, might I add. Basically, if I'm alive and breathing, if I got internet access, I'm putting stuff in this group darn near 365. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. Please join it. You will not be dissatisfied. I promise. All right. Well, guys, man, just a little over 2 weeks away. Ooh, and we're got all kinds of draft stuff to talk about here. Well, yeah, now, I mean, there's, it's one of those things, right? I mean, one of the more constant things, if you want to kind of say that, okay, is obviously, because we're not there yet. It hasn't happened. Roger Goodell hasn't gone with the first overall pick in the 2025 draft. The Tennessee Titans have selected Cam Ward. So we're not there yet, and obviously nothing's guaranteed. Lots of things can happen. Who knows? But that is one kind of constant. Pretty much over the past couple weeks, whatever, month or so. Seems right. And I'm not, you listen to videos, you read articles, ESPN, yada yada. There's like no little inkling, no little whispers. Oh, I don't know. The Titans, maybe they might want to take Abdul Carter. They might. I'm not really hearing any of that, right? So one of the more consistent things that you've been hearing is, Ward Titans, right? So which would leave, then like about a week or so ago, it seemed like, Carter might have been going to the Browns, right? You got Garrett on one side, Carter on the other. Wow. That's like peanut butter and jelly. Unless you prefer the spaghetti and meatballs, huh? I mean, what a dynamic duo that would be. Holy cow. But now, recently, let me put this one up here. Is this in there? Nope. Is it? Yep. Once again, Adam Schefter. Right, I'm Shefty. I'm Adam Schefter. But one of the things is Adam Schefter joins a chorus of those who think that Travis Hunter will now go to the Browns. All right. Okay. So, interesting, Cam Ward and Travis Hunter are expected to be selected 1-2. Okay. So, the one nice thing is that, if Ward, there's like 2 pretty much right here and all that and everything, 2 just blue chip, stone cold, lock, blue chippers in his draft, right? That's Carter and Hunter. Okay. And, lo and behold, the Giants are almost guaranteed to get one of them. Or shall I say, almost one of them will be there, almost guaranteed to be there for the Giants to pick. Now, will they take them or not? Who knows? The thing is, it's like, do the Giants want to take somebody who's just possibly lock, stock, and barrel Stone cold, because Stone Cold said so. Stone cold blue chipper, plug and play. Yeah, there's your position. Wind them up, Hunter. Wind them up, or wind them up, Carter. Put them on the field. We'll see you at the end of your career, brother. Thank you for being there. Thank you for Thank you for allowing the New York Giants to take you. Right. You want one of those, or do you want, you know what I mean? You know, possibly Shador or somebody else. We'll have to wait and see. But the one exciting thing is that there's a really good chance, really good chance, one of those blue chippers is going to be there for the Giants. And that's one of the nice things about having a bad year, right? The other thing, kind of stuff. Well, we've seen stranger things. The thing I hate about drafting early, is then you go through the rest of the first round, right? And you never know, right? The Giants maybe jump back into the first round, maybe pluck somebody. That you don't know, because we got that extra third round pick, so you don't know. But so we'll have to wait and see. But the thing about the Giants picking third, it's like but that just goes to show you how bad we were the year before. But one of the things, and we'll read this with Schefty. I'm Adam Schefter. ESPN NFL insider Adam Schefter has joined the chorus of those who believe the Cleveland Browns will select Travis Hunter at number 2 in the draft. The latest intel now is that I believe Travis Hunter is the more likely pick at 2, Schefter said on the Pat McAfee show. It's beginning to look like the Giants' choice at number 3 in the draft will be between Shedeur Sanders and Abdul Carter. Following Friday's Colorado Pro Day, the Tennessee Titans canceled a private workout for Sanders. Oh, boy. And quarterback wide receiver Travis Hunter. Titans have been considered likely to select Miami Cam Ward with the number 1 overall pick, and that would now appear all but certain. So there's almost a guarantee. That's that's the question. Will the Giants take almost the lock, stock, barrel, stone cold, almost guaranteed blue chipper? Or will they take somebody? They better feel real good about this Mr. Sanders, because their job's going to depend upon it, right? And the thing is that I ain't dissing Shedeur. I ain't nobody, nothing, right? But if you go after Shedeur, and if he's not the guy, you just set yourself back years. You could have had. Look what Micah Parsons doing with the Cowboys. Yep, there. And this is some people talking about Carter being Parsons 2.0. And I saw a video. It was on Facebook. I don't know who the guy was, but he was talking about Abdul. He had 12 and a half sacks last year as like a defensive end / edge rusher, whatever you want to call him, right? 12 and a half. That was his first year as a defensive end. The year before that, he had been like an off-ball linebacker. The guy's just like, and the guy was talking about Abdul Carter said, if you put the dude in coverage, he can flip his hips and get back in coverage. I've seen Baldy, Brian Baldinger, he had some videos of Abdul Carter. Abdul was back in coverage. I don't know what, I can't remember what it was, 15 yards or 20 yards in coverage. He jumped up and he tipped the pass. There was another guy on him, but Abdul Carter jumped up, and tipped the ball away. The guy's a phenomenal athlete. Could you imagine him and Bernsey and Sexy, Kayvon, Karake, wow, that revamped secondary, wow, nice. So the one thing would be is that and we're going to talk about one of the quarterbacks the Giants have later in our program here this evening. He has a little interesting thing with his contract. But, I mean, the Giants got a quarterback. They got a quarterback this year. They got a quarterback this year and next year, too, right? They can always get a quarterback next season. So it's going to be interesting to see. Very, very interesting to see. But Carter, right? Giants bringing in Carter for a visit ahead of the pivotal NFL draft decision. As part of their standard operating procedures preparation heading into the NFL draft, the Giants will bring in edge rusher Abdul Carter for a top 30 visit, as well they should. That visit will be Thursday, according to ESPN. The last day for NFL teams to have these visits is April 16th, so that would be next Wednesday. Carter, the top pass rusher in the draft, will tour the Giants facility and meet with several members of the organization. He has already spent time, right, with General Manager Joe Shane and head coach Brian Daboll, as the Giants have been monitoring Carter for quite some time. Damn well right, they should. I mean, quite possibly, this guy could be better than Micah Parsons. Let's not forget. I mean, I can't remember. Just to be honest with you, because I'll agree. I am a moron, right? I can't remember. I remember Devontae Smith went in front of Micah Parsons, but Parsons didn't go till 12th. I guess the Bears jumped up to 11, took Justin Fields. So, yeah, I mean, if Micah Parsons should have been drafted earlier, I got to give you that, right? But he didn't go to 12th. I mean, we're talking about Carter possibly going number 2 or 3, and we're talking Carter, as far as the best athlete, all of that and everything, he's ranked higher than any quarterback. So Carter is either number 1 or number 2 as far as just pure football, on people's boards, right? So, I mean, we might have missed out on Micah Parsons a few years ago, but we might be getting somebody as good, if not better. Because, let's see, Carter, let's see. This is the third year, right? Only third year. He's getting better. 2022, he played in 13 games as a freshman. I think he missed he only played in the first 6 games or something like that. I'm sorry. He only started 6 or 7 games his rookie season. The first half of the rookie season, he didn't start, but he was a freshman. The last half of the season, he started in 6 or 7 games, and he's just off and running. His rookie season, he played in 13 games. He had 36 solo tackles, 20 assists to tackles, 56 combined tackles, 11 tackles. Well, he had 6.5 sacks. He started like 6 or 7 games and he had 6.5 sacks. That was kind of like an off-ball linebacker, right? Same thing when he was a sophomore. He had 4.5 sacks, right? But this past season, 2024, he had a grand total of 68 tackles, 24 tackles for loss, 12. Here they got 12 sacks. I heard 12.5. He was an All-American, right? He's a junior edge rusher, defensive end, whatever you want to call him. 12 sacks, right? And this is his first season, right? I mean, just imagine, him getting better. I don't want to say he could be scary, but, just imagine him getting better. They own the number 3 pick in the first round, and Carter is expected to be one of the top 3 players to come off the board. Daboll has had breakfast this past Sunday with Carter at Penn State. And once again, it's remember you heard Daboll talking when they had the annual the meeting in Florida. A couple of weeks ago, over a week ago, right? When somebody asked him and said, "You going to any pro?" Nah, I don't go to pro days. Nope. I'd rather have guys come to me. Okay, so all right. Then why did you go to Colorado's pro day to see Shador and Hunter? And why'd you go to Penn State to have breakfast with Carter if he's coming in? Some things just don't make much sense. But Abdul Carter meets with the Giants coach, Brian Daboll. Somehow, food always seems to be factored into the equation when the New York Giants and top NFL draft prospects get together. Well, hey, these guys come. You, and we're in New York. You treat them. You take out carte blanche and you pay them whatever. Yeah, right. You eat, have fun, eat, manja, right? But that's also another one of the things too, okay, which is huge. One thing that Joe Shane talks about, and he wants to, when he's taking like especially a top prospect or a lot of these other prospects, he wants to know how these other people, like a Carter, Hunter, anybody, how they treat other people, right? And no better place than in a cafeteria, right? Restaurant, cafeteria, right? So he talks to other players. He talks to people maybe work in the cafeteria and stuff like that. And all, how does he treat you, right? Well, there's no better visible sign of that than if they take him out to dinner, right? When somebody, we'll just go Carter. Carter's right at the, he's getting ready to order. Give me a steak, make it rare. Does he do that, or is it? Oh yes, I would like the filet mignon, please. Could I have that medium rare? Thank you. I'll have the sweet potatoes, and I'll have some corn on the side. Thank you so much. Now, does he do that, or is he? You know what I mean? Right? Is he think he's up here and he talks down to people, or does he get along with everybody? He tries to treat everybody with respect and kindness and all that. I mean, that's huge. That's huge. I mean, when you're going to be making, he gets drafted third. Once again, I'm a moron. Please forgive me. I think it's around $8 million for the third pick in the draft. I think it's around 10 for the first because it keeps going up every year. I think it's 10, then around 9 for the second pick, 8, somewhere around 8 for the third pick. So, so he's going to be making $8 million a year, maybe 9, right? And these people working at the restaurant are making whatever, right? Nowhere near what he's going to be making. Okay, how does he treat them? Right, that's huge. That's huge. Now, of course, right. If you're the third pick in the draft, that could be made. Maybe, right? Maybe could be glossed over a little bit, right? But that's very important, Shane. Right, especially building a team. But it's interesting how Daboll went out and had breakfast with him. Brian Daboll had breakfast in State College, Pennsylvania on Sunday with the Nittany Lions edge defender Abdul Carter, and that Carter will visit East Rutherford, New Jersey on Thursday. There has, of course, been a growing belief in draft circles that the Tennessee Titans will take quarterback Cam Ward number 1. I don't blame them. I would too. And if you need yourself a quarterback, now, obviously, as far as pure talent and all of that stuff, Hunter, Carter are still better, but I mean Cam Ward just really seems like just listening to people like he's I don't want to say can't miss, but he's the top quarterback prospect. They need a quarterback. I'm taking the guy, absolutely. And the Cleveland Browns will follow suit by selecting Colorado wide receiver / cornerback Travis Hunter at number 2. That would leave the Giants with a choice of Carter or Colorado quarterback Shedeur Sanders, or a possible trade down with the 3rd overall pick. Don't know about that. If you can get somebody, like maybe Carter, I'm not trading down. Unless it's too good to be true. Unless the what they're giving up, whatever team it is, it's really, really something good. But other than that, I'm taking the blue chipper. Let's see. Carter reminds many of Micah Parsons, whom the Giants passed on an opportunity to draft in 2021. Selecting him might ease the sting of that ill-fated decision when the Giants traded down and ended up selecting Kadarius Toney. Giants already have 2022 number 5 overall Kayvon Thibodeau and highly paid Brian Burns at the edge position. Defensive coordinator Shane Bowen would have to get creative to find maximum snaps and opportunities for all three players. Absolutely. Being flush with pass rushers, though, is always preferable to not having enough. Just ask former defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo. Absolutely, you got that freaking right. You can never, ever have too many edge rushers. Now, obviously, like I said, the one thing is that, he can play an off-ball linebacker as well, too. He's kind of like the Isaiah Simmons kind of thing. Not Isaiah Simmons is an edge rusher off, but where Isaiah, you can kind of plug and play him in many different positions. But same thing with Carter, right? Carter, you can maybe put him in edge, right? I mean, it depends upon down and distance and all that stuff and everything. But Carter can fill in. I mean, he can fill in for, not that you want to take Burnsy off the field too much, but Burns, he can Kayvon. I don't want to be a Grim Reaper, but if one of those guys gets injured, which happens, right? Now he's the starter, or he's going to get more snaps. He can maybe be off-ball lineman, maybe in the middle, maybe give him some snaps where Micah was at. Maybe, I don't know if you want to take Bobby Okereke because if he's calling the signals or whatever, but maybe slide somebody in, or whatever. I don't know. Drop them. Yeah, you're gonna have to get creative, obviously, to find some snaps for him. But if you pass on them, man, that would be just crazy. A lot of people also starting to think, I've seen a lot of stuff in like in Facebook groups and all and everything. What if Giants draft Carter? What's this mean for Kayvon? Does that mean they're going to trade him or something like that? That'll be interesting to see. Very, very interesting. But there are some downs also where, especially if it's like more of a passing down, right? Passing league, passing down, right? But you maybe slide Kayvon in next to Sexy, right? If because pretty much, we got Golston too, right? What a problem we'd have, right? We got too many edge rushers. What are we going to do? That's a nice problem to have. But if it's third down and whatever, 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, right? You put Sexy in the middle, right? And you slide Burnsy in, so now you got Sexy and you got Burns, right? Where you put Kayvon in, right? And right? You got Burns on the edge and you got Carter over here. Now you got 4 guys that can get after the quarterback. Whew. What a problem that would be, huh? So, man. I don't know. It's a gamble. It's a gamble either way. If you take Shedeur, right, hopefully it works out because it's always going to be one of those things. If you take Shedeur and he doesn't work out, he'll always be tied to whoever the other guy is, whether it's Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter. He'll be whoever's there with the Giants. Whoever's available, he'll always be tied. Always be tied together. Right. Well, it's same thing with Kadarius Toney and whatever. Right. Giants could have Micah Parsons. Always be tied. But so I'd have a hard time passing up on somebody. It's just unless they feel that stone cold guaranteed about Shedeur Sanders. They better. They better have a great feeling of it because if not, it'll cost them their job if they're wrong. And once again, it would set the Giants back, right, some years, right, and not to mention the defense the Giants could have. Because the secondary, we revamped it, right, and to add another pass rusher in there with Burnsy, Kayvon, Sexy. Oh, wow, man, we'd have a great defense, So, which leads me to my next point here, right? The Giants been spending a lot of time with Jackson Dart. Now, quite possibly, this another one of those wild cards you just don't know about, right? How far in the first round will he go? Will he make it to the second round? Don't know about that. There's a lot of teams been spending some time with Mr. Dart. The Giants are certainly been one of them, spent a lot of time with him. Okay. Now, is he somebody the Giants might want to, and I also saw Jalen Milroe, too, being talked about. Dan Orlovsky was talking about him, thinking Milroe going to the Giants would be almost perfect, right? He said something like, Dan Orlovsky said, like, the season is kind of like almost over with. I mean, the Giants, whatever, after 10, 12 games or so, after 12 games, they were 4-8 or something like that. It's not looking good, Those last 5, 6 games or whatever it is, you just put Milroe out there and just let him, all right? Let him go to town. He's got some stuff to work on and learn and everything like that. But, Milroe might be somebody there the Giants can take in the second round as well. But Giants have been spending a lot of time here with Mr. Dart. NFL draft rumors. New York Giants among teams Jackson Dart has spent the most time with. Where Dart will land is one of the draft's biggest mysteries. Absolutely. I mean, it's one of those things. I mean, that's what you love about it. I mean, if everything was just written in conch or stone or whatever you want to call it, it get kind of boring. You don't know who's somebody going to jump back into the first round and grab Dart. Will Dart make it past like the Steelers, right? You don't know. I mean, will he land in the top 10? Crazier things that happen. You don't know, right? Especially one of these teams that need a quarterback. Giants are one of the 4 teams Ole Miss quarterback Jackson Dart has spent the most time with leading into the NFL draft, per NFL insider Ian Rappaport. The other per Rappaport are the Browns, who have picks 2 and 33. The Saints, who have pick number 9. That's the thing. With Dart making it out of the top 10 even. He may not. And the Steelers are at pick 21. Now, the Giants could couple up like their second-round pick and the third-round pick or so. Maybe it might have to something, maybe. But they can jump in front of the Steelers at number 20 and pluck them. Because they got 2 third-round picks, don't forget. So they could trade back into the first round, have Dart for 5 seasons, give up a third-round pick, and they'd still have a third-round pick. Right? So, and they would have Dart for 5 seasons. So if he's going to be the quarterback of the future, they would have him under contract for 5 seasons. I mean, the 5th year would be his 5th year option where he would be really cheap. And that's where you can really start building around him, right? So, and then the Giants, of course, have picks 3 and 34. Dart visited with the Steelers past Friday with Rappaport saying that will be his last visit. That, of course, will mean that Dart has almost certainly already visited with the Giants in East Rutherford. If you're the Giants and you view him as a first-round quarterback, you take him at 3. Oh, my God. Wow. Ooh. Wow. Man. Oh, that would be, wow. They took him at number 3. Wow. Holy cow. But there's no guarantee you're going to get him in the back half of the first round if you trade back in, Rappaport says. All right. I can attest to the trickiness of that. In the SB Nation Writers mock draft, I selected Travis Hunter at number 3 with the hope of trading back into round 1 for Dart, finding a trade that is late enough that I don't need to include a 2026 first-round pick, and also crossing my fingers that Dart is still on the board wherever I can work out a trade are nerve-wracking. Paying attention to a draft prospect doesn't mean a team will select him, even if the opportunity is there. Remember a year ago when quarterback J.J. McCarthy said he spent more time with the Giants than any other team. Giants, of course, passed on the chance to select the former Michigan quarterback. With the Saints among the teams spending a lot of time with him, it is worth wondering if Dart could rise into the top 10. Dan Orlovsky is certainly on that bandwagon. I'm a Jackson Dart guy. I don't think he makes out of the top 10. Obviously, said Orlovsky said on the Pat McAfee show. He sees it well and he can throw it. I think he's going to be an awesome pro. So, all right. Giants whispers and meetings hint at drafting fast-rising quarterback. NFL Network's Ian Rappaport said the Giants are one of the 4 teams who have spent the most time with Dart. Giants sent more than a dozen representatives to the Colorado NFL Showcase, which was conducted primarily to show off the right arm of Shedeur Sanders. It appears as though the Giants were there more to see and talk to wide receiver defensive back Travis Hunter, who also happened to win the Heisman Trophy. According to NFL, Ian Rappaport, the Giants have their eye on another quarterback far outside of their third pick. There are meetings, there are hints, there are all over Ole Miss quarterback Jackson Dart. Steelers, Saints, and Browns join him as having shown the most interest in Dart. Dart is clearly not going to be selected with the second or third pick by the Browns or the Giants, but he should be around when the Saints pick at 9, although that also seems a bit early. Pittsburgh at 21, as with the Giants, might think if he's still there at number 20, might think about going from number 34 and jumping up and back into the first round at number 20. Pittsburgh at 21 seems like a more practical landing spot for Dart. Should the Rebel fall to the second round, the Giants should take him with their second round pick. Well, the Browns might take him with their second round pick because they got the first pick in the second round. So if he gets to the Browns at pick number 33, he could be gone. And the Giants may not be able to trade with him, right? Can't pick the phone up and call, hey, Browns, can we trade? I mean, they may not want to talk because they know they might be taking Dart. So he would be great to pair with Travis Hunter, who they should take with their first round pick. Well, Hunter may not be there. Dart shot up the draft board since the combine. He was viewed as a third or fourth round selection, but now has been mentioned as high as a late first round selection. We could see the Steelers taking him at 21 as opposed to waiting to see if he is available in the second round. Steelers also might look to trade up a few spots to grab him in the first round, depending on the status of the quarterback position. Yep. The Giants, who already have Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston in the fold as vet newcomers, believe that is going to happen. They will have to use some assets to trade back into the first round and overspend a little to get their man. Well, I mean, that's one of the things, because you figure like with the Steelers, right? Are they just going to wait and wait and wait? We need a quarterback. They're just going to sit there and wait and wait and wait. He'll fall to us, and that may not happen. All it takes is one team, and because you got the Giants and the Browns, very early second round picks, they can jump back into the first round. Right? Give up a little draft capital. Now they have the quarterback of the future. So, I mean, if you're the Steelers, it might behoove the Steelers to move up a few spots, right? Give up their first round pick and go up a few spots and trade a third round pick, whatever, move up 3-4 spots or something like that, and take Dart while he's on the board, right? So, could be interesting. Dart's certainly one of those wild cards. Without question. You don't know. Same thing like with Milroe, right? Will Milroe go in the second round? Right? Will he make it to the third round? That's the thing you just love about, you love about this draft. There's always, a lot. There's a lot more questions than answers, right? And the big thing, obviously, last season, right, was all those quarterbacks. Oh my God, there were so many of them, and they were going like wildfire, right? But you can say what you want. I know the Giants missed on maybe getting a quarterback or whatever, but we got ourselves a wide receiver. I know you got to have a quarterback. We ain't going nowhere without a quarterback. I get it, but we got ourselves a wide receiver, right? And and if Hunter falls to us at 3, I mean, we'd have imagine those two wide. Imagine Hunter and Malik on the field at the same time. Or, get him like whatever, 20, 30 snaps on offense, Hunter, put him on defense. Maybe, if you need like a nickel, a dime coverage, right? You want to get like whatever, 6 defensive backs out there. There's Hunter, right? If Banks starts really stinking up the joint, right? You don't know. Or if somebody gets hurt, Hunter is now your cornerback. Right? So, I mean, it's just tough. But, like I said, one thing it's almost a certainty is that one of those two blue chippers will be there for the Giants. And I think the Giants should just swoop in and pick them up, whoever it is, if it's Hunter or Carter, right? The Giants need playmakers. They need more playmakers. Obviously, of course, we need a quarterback. I got that. But we have quarterbacks this season. So if we don't get one, it's not the end of the world, right? We need more playmakers. And Carter and Hunter are playmakers. They can be difference makers, too. So, but speaking about maybe doing well and maybe going to the Super Bowl, so how does the Giants roster building compare to the Super Bowl winners? Well, it's off a little bit. It's not they got some issues. They certainly have some issues. One thing is not one of them. I mean, they're a very young team. They have gotten older, okay, because they brought back Van Roten. We still got Mr. Graham Gano. Right, and we just brought in Russell Wilson, so we have aged, and we had Jameson Winston too, right? So although Gano might become a cap casualty, we might let him go, right? That's a possibility. But a few of the guys we brought back, or Van Roten we brought back, a couple of the other quarterbacks we signed, brought up our age, right, a little bit. Right? We were like one of the youngest, second or third youngest team last season. Well, we got a little bit older this year, but you figure after this season, almost guaranteed, you can see maybe Gano is gone if he even makes it into the season. Russell Wilson might be gone. Van Roten might be gone after this season's over with, right? But we are a very, very young team. All right, they got. All right, so. This is interesting. All right. New data reveals how Giants roster building approach stacks up to Super Bowl winners. How have the Giants performed regarding key roster building metrics compared to the last 10 Super Bowl champions? You might be surprised. New York Giants general manager Joe Schoen is desperately trying to rebuild a roster that has underperformed in each of the last two seasons. With the draft in less than 3 weeks, it is hoped that if Schoen can produce another strong class, the franchise's misfortunes will turn around. However, some stats compiled by Pro Football Network on how the Giants roster has been assembled might cause some concern. Pro Football Network evaluated all 32 NFL rosters to see how the various teams' rosters were shaping up in categories such as homegrown players, free agents, trades, first-round pick, day 2 picks, day 3 picks, average roster age. So, here's how the Giants ranked versus the last 10 Super Bowl winning teams. Homegrown talent. Giants, the homegrown talent is 45.8%, which is 22nd. Not good. Schoen's plan when he was hired was to build a competitive roster via the draft, develop, and retain method, with free agency used to supplement it. But so far, the Giants haven't done a stellar job of that with him at the helm. All but 2 of the last 10 Super Bowl champions, the 2017 Eagles and the 2019 Chiefs, have ranked worse than the Giants in this category. Since Schoen was hired, only 4 Giants have received multiple-year second contracts from the team. Quarterback Daniel Jones, Andrew Thomas, right? Of course. Dexter Lawrence, and Darius Slayton. Schoen's predecessor, Dave Gettleman, drafted all 4 players and is well known now that Jones' contract was terminated early. To be fair, Schoen's First draft class isn't ready for renewals until this year, but if we're also being fair, he could not reach new deals with safeties Julian Love and Xavier McKinney and running back Saquon Barkley, which were three very big losses at the time. Will he have better luck with his own draft picks? Of that 11-man group, outside linebacker Kayvon Thibodeau and receiver Wan'Dale Robinson might have the best chance of getting new multiple-year contracts. The rest of the class could see their situations go in the opposite direction, which is not good. Not good at all. I mean, that's one thing. A lot of one things that the Giants, don't wind up doing a lot of, right? Drafting the guys, keeping the guys. But a lot of that also has to do with, if every 2 years you got a new coach in here, right? He's like, I didn't draft those guys. Not the guys I want. Right? Gotta let them go. If you have consistency there, if you have the GM around for a long time, if you're able to have the coach around for a long time, right? Now, after 3, 4, 5 years rolls by, right? You still got the same coach there. The coach and the GM is like, we drafted these guys. Yeah, we'll keep them. But it's not the case. Free agency and trades. The Giants 54.2%, which is 11th. Giants have been too bad in this category. Last year, they landed outside linebacker Brian Burns, who made an impact on the defense. Offensive lineman John Runyon Jr., Greg Van Rote, and Jermaine Illuminor became starters on the offensive line. In the offseason, they beefed up their defensive secondary with cornerback Paulson Adebo and Javon Holland. They added defensive lineman Chauncey Golston, Jeremiah Ledbetter, and Roy Robertson Harris to the defensive front. They signed two guys, Stone Forsythe and James Hudson III, who have played the position before to compete for the swing tackle spot, and they added a lot of depth on special teams. When compared to the last 5 Super Bowl winners, the Giants' ranking in this category does not seem to show a gradual shift toward improvement. First rounders. Giants have 11.1%, which is 14th. Once again, like middle of the pack. Giants' recent first-round picks under Joe Schoen have been hit and miss. Thibodeau seems to be just border on the hit side, while tackle Evan Neal has been a miss so far. The jury is still out on cornerback Deonte Banks, but the Giants appear to have a massive hit with wide receiver Malik Neighbors, and it should be hopefully the same thing with their pick this season, pick number 3. Could be a huge hit. Only 3 Super Bowl teams, the 2017 Eagles, 2020 Bucs, and the 2024 Eagles, ranked higher than the Giants in this category. Day 2 picks, the Giants are 19.4%, which is 21st, which is not good. It's another category where the Giants have struggled to find sustainable talent. Their second and third round draft picks, particularly their third rounders, are mostly missed, which is absolutely, you can't have that. 2022, Shane's first draft, the best of the day 2 picks was wide receiver Wan'Dale Robinson, and it's not close. The third round that year yielded offensive lineman Joshua Zudo, who was yet to crack the starting lineup, and cornerback Cordell Flott, who couldn't hold on to the starting job he initially won that year. The 2023 group was worse. The jury is still out on center John Michael Schmitz, and the jury is missing on receiver Jalen Hyatt, who saw his snaps and opportunities decline from year 1 to year 2. That leaves 2024, which has been the best yet for the Giants. Second-round safety Tyler Nubin is an up-and-coming star, as his third-round cornerback Drew Phillips, who appears to have snapped a long dry spell of subpar Giants third-round picks. You ain't freaking kidding. The takeaways that could be argued in this case is that it's easier to hit on the first-round picks than on day 2 guys. Those who hit on day 2 picks have enjoyed success, as 7 of the last 10 Super Bowl teams have ranked 9th or higher, 2 of which are 2019 and 2022 Chiefs, ranking first in this category. So, all right, now we talk about day 3 picks, undrafted free agents. Giants are at 69.4%, which is 9th overall, which is good. Surprisingly, the Giants have done better with their last 10 than the last 10 Super Bowl teams in this category, which is even more challenging to get right the lower a team goes in the draft. It is crazy. Even the 2024 Eagles, whose general manager Howie Roseman typically puts on a masterclass in roster building, struggled in this category, ranking 29th. Roster building is a joke to me. Howie, the void years Roseman. All he does is he brings guys in, or he signs guys he can't afford and puts void years on them. That's one of the biggest reasons that their team is as good as it is. Among the Giants' top day three undrafted free agent picks has been tight end Theo Johnson, running back Tyrone Tracy Jr., and tight end Daniel Bellinger and Micah McFadden. Some of the promising undrafted free agents find that them contributed in the games, including Elijah Chapman, Dante Turbo Miller, Tommy DeVito, Bryce Ford Wheaton, and Toman Fox. Their average age is 26.3, which is 10th. Which is very good. Last year, the Giants opened the 2024 season with the 8th youngest roster, 25.7. They currently have the 10th youngest roster with an average age rising to 26.3, thanks to the additions of quarterback Russell Wilson, Jameson Winston, Graham Gano, Graham Gano and Greg Van Roten. Now, if they were to let Graham Gano go, that would obviously drop their roster age, because Graham Gano. He just turned today. Graham Gano is turning 38 years old today, April 9th. So he may not even make it to the opening day roster. Three other players, Chris Board, Austin Schlotman, and receiver Zach Pascal, will be 30 by the end of the 2025 season. The last four Super Bowl winners have been getting younger, ranking among the top 10 youngest teams in average age. This represents a trend shift from 2015 to 2020. Like the other 31 NFL rosters, the Giants roster is still a work in progress, though it's also fair to say the Giants have a lot more work to do on their roster than some of the other teams. Yeah, you can say that. While no one expects the Giants to be one of the Super Bowl contenders this coming season, they need to be far more competitive. The hope is that the added experience combined with what they hopefully will be another solid draft class will get the arrow pointed in the right direction. Now, as I said, the one thing, that one huge thing is another solid draft class. That would be huge, really, really huge. The one thing, would be, like if they were to get their quarterback, say they take somebody in the second round, but they jump back into the first round, is that quarterback going to be the quarterback in the future, or is that just another swing and a miss at the quarterback? But I said, pick number 3 has got to be, you got to knock that baby out of the park, right? And because the Titans are taking possibly Cam Ward at number 1, that's going to leave. There's only a couple real solid blue chippers in this draft, and the Giants will have a chance to get one of them. Good chance. So I hope they take one of them at number 3. So, of course, the Giants' highest graded first round picks at every slot for the past decade. So this goes from 1 to 32. And of course, the Giants have one guy, pick number 17, right? Who in the past for the past decade, right, who graded out the highest. And of course, at pick number 17 overall, I'll go over all the picks. But pick 17 over the last 10 years, right, according to PFF, right, the highest guy who scored out the highest is Sexy, number 17. So let me go over all of the. Oh, actually, can I share my screen here? Let's see here. Where we at here? Is this it? Yeah. Let me see if I can share my screen here. And we'll go through this together. Let's see here. Oh, there we go. All right. So let's walk through this together, shall we? Go from 1 to 32. Okay. Highest graded first round picks at every pick slot across the last decade. So basically from pick 1 to 32. All right. So this is pick number 1 overall, right? Obviously, Joe Burrow taking the 2020 draft, graded at 95.3. Now, of course, it's kind of funny here, right? Pick 2 and pick 3, both the Bosa Bros, the Bosa brothers. Pick number 2 was Nick Bosa in the 2019 draft. Pick number 3, Joey Bosa in the 2016 draft. Both graded out over 90. Little sauce on the side. Gardner, pick number 4. He's the graded out the highest. Pick number 4 in the 2022 draft. Is graded out so far at 90.7. Jalen Ramsey of the Jaguars, pick number 5. Justin Herbert, pick number 6. Josh Allen, there you go, 94.5, pick number 7. Wow. Pick number 8, Christian McCaffrey of the Panthers in 2017. Jalen Carter, pick number 9. Pick number 9 hasn't been super spectacular. Jalen Carter of the Eagles, 83.5. Quarterback Patrick Mahomes, 90. He only graded out 96. That's all. Yeah, he sucks. Chris Olave, wow, pick number 11, 89.1. So interesting. Chris Olave, well, that's pretty good. For the Saints. All right. Then we got number 12. Of course, we could have had him, Micah Parsons, with the Cowboys in the 2021 draft. Christian Wirfs, pick number 13 with the Bucs in the 2020 draft. Chris Lindstrom of the Falcons, 93.4. Fantastic guard. Wow, 93.4. Malik Hooker of the Colts, pick number 15. Marlon Humphrey of the Ravens, cornerback, 2017. Then we got Sexy Dexy. Pick number 17, graded out 91.8 so far, I guess, over his career. Lawrence has lived in opposing backfields over the last 3 seasons. His 93.4 PFF grade since 2022 is the best among all defensive tackles and is the only interior defender with 90-plus grades as a pass rusher and a run defender. What a beast. What a beast. Then we got Jair Alexander from the Packers, at pick number 18, the cornerback. Edge rusher Jared Verse of the Rams in the 2024 class. Frank Ragnow of the Lions in the 2018 class. He's the highest ranked player over the past decade at pick number 20. Pick number 21 is Trent McDuffie, cornerback from the Chiefs in the 2022 draft. Some dude by the name of Justin Jefferson. That's how he made it to pick number 22. We'll never know. That in the 2020 draft. 23, Christian Darrisaw of the Vikings. Let's see. 20, pick number 4, Josh Jacobs in the 2019 draft. 25, Brandon Ayuk of the 49ers in the 2020 class. Montez Sweat of the Commanders in the 2019 draft, at number 26. Kenny Clark of the Packers, pick number 27 overall in the 2016 class. Pick number 28, Xavier Worthy of the Chiefs. And this is, so look at that. I mean, it's just, number 20, graded out of 71.8. So not super spectacular. So picks 28 have not been very super spectacular over the past decade. Neither has been number 29, David Njoku, the Browns, but he's only graded out of 72.1. Then you got TJ Watt. You look at him, it's like, man, how did he make it to number 30, huh? But let's see. Then you got Sony Michel, right? The 2018 draft, and some dude by the name of Lamar Jackson, who they traded up for with the Eagles in 2018 class. And the Eagles, the Eagles traded back. Eagles traded out of that. I don't know. Eagles. If I'm the Eagles, I'd rather have Lamar Jackson than Jalen Hurts, right? But anyway, but the Giants do have one of the, right. Let me stop sharing. The Giants have one of the 32 anyway over the past decade. And of course, that was compliments of Mr. Dave Gettleman. So he, I'm a little debt gratitude because I mean, there ain't nobody like sexy. I'll tell you what, dude is obviously, he's kind of coming obviously into his own over the past few years, right? I mean, when he first started, he was good, but he's the past few years he's really been a dominating force, and so. But so the Giants, their drafting has not been super spectacular, shall we say? say the least. But I said one thing without question that would definitely help the Giants would be another good draft class. So you're telling me we got a chance? Well, that's what this article says. I drink the Kool-Aid every year, and of course, at the end of the season, I'm like, man, how do we only win 3 games? I mean, the one thing is that, it all started with, I started doing this back in, it was a little over 4 years ago. I started doing my channel here, and so I've been drinking the Kool-Aid a couple of times. One of them was, obviously was Judge's. My first year of doing this was Judge's second season. It was after the 2020 season. So we started 1-7 with Judge, right? But we finished 5-3. We didn't have a great roster, not like that. I mean, finished 5-3, and I'm like, wow, maybe we're onto something here. So I drank the Kool-Aid. 2021, nope, we sucked. Then we got Daboll coming in and all of that stuff and everything, and we go 9-7-1. I'm like, damn, he's the coach of the year. I mean, we don't have a phenomenal roster or nothing like that. Go 9-7-1. Wow. 2023 is our year, baby. Here we go. I drank the Kool-Aid. Nope. And so we're on 6-11. So I'm like, man, come on, man. We're 6-11. We had a lot of injuries. We upgraded the roster, right? We got Malik Neighbors and blah, 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 blah. And we 6-11. Got to win at least 8 or 9 games. Come on, man. So I drank the Kool-Aid. Nope. 3-14. So, I mean, I've been, drinking the Kool-Aid a long time. So it's one of those things. So what have you done for me? Just show me, right? Just show me. But so I got this one article here. Of course, why 2025 could be a turnaround season. Despite the Giants' disappointing 2023 and 2024 seasons, which were heavily impacted by injuries, which is true. Nobody wants to talk, well, we were injured. It's always the next man up and blah, 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 blah. They had injuries. Right. They possess the potential to rebound and compete in 2025. Who wrote this here? Mean Gene Clemens. Coach Clemens. 2025 outlook for the New York Giants has not been positive, with some believing the franchise is still years away from being competitive. The question, though, is why. The NFL is a league built on parity. The salary cap, rosters, and scheduling are all set up, making it increasingly more difficult for the best teams to stay on top. Every season, a team goes from worst to first, and nobody bats an eyelash. Big Blue Nation should be well aware of this, since they watched the Giants go from 4-13 in 2021 to 9-7-1 in 2022. If they could do that, why could they not do it again? Good point. Were they really banned 2023, or were they just injured? Let's start with the decline in 2023. After the 9-7-1 season and head coach Brian Daboll's first year, they fell to 6-10. Were they really that bad in 2023, or were they just injured? Well, I mean, they also, let's not forget, I mean, they had a quarterback carousel going on, right? After the success of the 2022 season, everyone was excited about the prospects of another playoff run in 2023. I was one of them. Absolutely. All those hopes were dashed in the season's first game against the Cowboys. It was just not the fact that they lost 40-0. That was the problem. Starting left tackle Andrew Thomas suffered an injury that kept him out of the lineup for the next 7 weeks. And I don't even know, even when he came back, if he was still 100%. Right? Which is not the fact. Oh, let's say the team went 2-5 over that span of time as they continued to lose offensive linemen. But they did. It was a joke. Absolute joke. In fact, the offensive line dealt with injuries throughout the entire season. At one point, there was not a starter from week 1 on the offensive line, and the Giants had to pull in guys off the streets to play. In addition to Thomas and the offensive line injuries, many of other key players missed significant time. Quarterback Daniel Jones missed a chunk of time due to a neck and knee injuries. And he got injured twice, let's not forget, right? He took the shot against Miami with the neck, then he comes back and he blows his knee out against the Raiders, and the season's over with. His backup, Tyrod Taylor, also missed time with the rib injury, which saw him land on IR. That turned the operation over to Tommy DeVito, an undrafted free agent rookie. By the end of the year, Jones had 6 starts, DeVito had 6 starts, and Taylor had 5 starts. That level of inconsistency would not help any team to be successful. No. Nope. Add that to running back Saquon Barkley's 3-game absence and tight end Darren Waller's 5-game absence. Now, let's not also forget the Giants traded a 3rd-round pick for Darren Waller, and hoping that he would play maybe 3 solid years for the Giants. He only played 12 games. Traded away a 3rd-round pick for Darren Waller, and all we got was 12 games out of it. And then he retires. So we lost a 3rd-round pick for that. That's a lot of missing production and an overall lack of continuity. Even with all of that, they finished with 6 wins and lost 4 other games by 1 touchdown and a conversion or less. Who knows what that season could have been if everyone had been healthy? Maybe that and the fact that it may have forced the front office to re-sign a couple of guys who they let walk away to become all pro with other organizations. Now, obviously, this is one thing. Obviously, we're all been looking, especially as Giant fans, right? All been looking at, right? So the 2024 Commanders are proof that a quick turnaround can happen. Now, obviously, they did that with a lot of free agents. I didn't think they had a chance in heck of becoming a good team. Usually, when you have an influx of like 300 trillion free agents, that doesn't work out. But for them, it did. But they also had, of course, Jaden Daniels. Now, with all that influx, if they had, some other quarterback, right? Other than Jaden Daniels, possibly the turnaround may not have been that good. Jaden Daniels was the key. Commanders organization went from an embarrassing 4-13 to a 12-5 mark, which also saw their season end in the NFC title game, too. Contrary to what some people have you believe, the Giants have been a better organization than the Commanders. Even last season, the Giants lost both their games to Washington, but they were in a position to win both. I mean, one of them they should have won if they had a kicker. They probably would have won if they had a kicker. All right. They lost the first game by 2 and the second game by 5 points. Most will point to quarterback play, and yes, that played a role, but overall the Commanders just found a way to win those close games. Well, I said, the one game the Giants should have won if they had a kicker. Not many teams finished a game without a kicker. Well, the Giants managed to do that. Right? That was the major difference between the two teams in 2024. The Giants lost 8 games by a touchdown or less. And the Commanders won 8 games by a touchdown or less. There you go. Those are the margins between being good or bad. So there is no reason why the Giants could not find themselves on the winning side of those one-score games as they did in 2022, which they did. 2022, they found ways, the past couple of seasons, they found ways to lose those games. 2022, when they won 8 games by a touchdown and an extra point or less. This Giants team is not that team. Every season, a new team is formed, and everyone starts a season 0-0. Daboll said that over 40% of the roster has been turned over for the second season in a row. There have been additions, such as those on the defensive line, in the secondary, and on special teams, that team hopes will make a difference in the win-loss column. The offensive line returns all 5 starters, which I tell you what, the offensive line was not that bad in the beginning. But once Andrew Thomas got hurt, then the wheels started falling off, all bets were off. But those first 5-6 games or so, when the same unit worked together every week, they weren't that bad. Not that bad. The offensive line returns all 5 starters and the 3 main backups from last season's team. And reinforcements have been added to help if they experience injury. The defensive line and defensive backfield have been bolstered. The receiving group has a talented nucleus full of guys with explosive abilities. They have 2 veteran quarterbacks who know what it is to like to compete at a high level and produce elite level performances. The exciting part is that they can still add more talent through the draft. There's no reason why this team can't reverse its fortune. Well, all right. Hey, I like that. Mean Gene. You know, I mean, you got to look at it. I mean, you know, without question, right? Without question, there is no reason why the Giants can't win more games. Obviously, I mean, injuries. I said, you look at a lot of the games. I mean, there are a lot of close games. I mean, we got blown out in a couple of them, sure. But as I said, I mean, just talking about that. I mean, right? I mean, I can't even talk sometimes. It's just so annoying. The first game against Washington, we didn't have a kicker. If we had a kicker, we couldn't even kick extra points, right? On that last drive, right? It was whatever it was. I can't remember. Was it 3rd or 4th down? Whatever, right? Malik Neighbors is on the sideline. The ball thrown hits him right here. He drops it. It's your dog, your man. Right? He drops it. I mean, he was going out of bounds, I believe it was, and all that. Yeah, I get it and everything, but I mean, come on, man, right? I mean, we could have gotten the first down there, maybe marched into the end zone, maybe scored a touchdown. Maybe we don't know. Just you know, sometimes just everything just seems to go bad for you. And I said, one of them is injuries. I mean, if you look every freaking year, the Giants have injuries every year. Then you look at the Eagles roster. With the Eagles, the Giants wound up last season with over 55, 56, 57, whatever it was, guys had some type of injury designation throughout the season. 55 to 56, 57 different guys had some type of an injury designation. It means at least one of the weeks, like somebody had a hamstring. He was questionable or doubtful or probable, whatever, with an injury. You look at the Eagles, and that was in 17 games for the Giants. 17. You look at the Eagles, who played 4 more games, right? The 3 playoff games, right? Trying to think. I know that the Rams, Commanders, the Chiefs, and they played another game. Can't remember who their first game was because they didn't get the first round bye. Can't remember who they beat. But anyway, the Eagles played 4 more games. So in 21 games, Giants only had 17. Eagles had 21. The Giants had 55, 56, 57, 58, somewhere different guys with injury designation. The Eagles had like 33, 34 in 4 more games. The Eagles had almost half the amount of guys with injury designations, and they played 4 more games. And one of them was, I think one of it was one of it was like Saquon Barkley. They gave him some type of injury designation. I think the final game of the season, and kept him out. Mekhi Becton had like 1 game that his injury designation. I mean, yeah. So the Eagles had like really once again blessed that they didn't have many injuries. The Giants were just once again decimated. The Giants had 10 different starting offensive line units, which was tied for the worst, or tied for the most, or whatever you want to call it. Right? So if there's ever a point in time where the Giants actually get a little bit of luck on their side, maybe some of the stuff can turn around. But we'll have to wait and see. So, but this is interesting here. I seen this. Now, this here could quite possibly, right? If let's hope not. I hope not. But if the wheels start falling off the bus, right? Things start going south in a hurry, right? There's an interesting little tidbit here in Russell Wilson's contract that isn't usually something you usually see. Now, all of the guys, okay, they get signing bonus. Usually get signing bonuses, right? And now the beauty of a signing bonus, right, is that with the signing bonus, like Russell Wilson, I know he gets $10.5 million guaranteed. Let's just make it $10 million because I'm an idiot. Let's round stuff off, make it simple. It's $10 million, right? Now, he has an $8 million signing bonus, which means basically his base salary is $2 million. Usually, you'll get that $8 million signing bonus and you can spread it out over the life of the contract. Well, the contract's only 1 year, so you can't spread it out. Yes, it's a bit odd. Usually, you could see where it might give him like his base salary would be $8 million. If it's only a 1 year, base salary could be like $8 million, and you give him $2 million signing bonus, which means you give him the money up front, all that stuff. But you don't have to split it up because he's only got a 1 year contract. So why are they giving him an $8 million signing bonus and a $2 million base salary? Very interesting. Well, I've got an article here. Let's go over this here. A quirk in Russell Wilson's contract. Jameson Winston. Is Jameson Winston the future starter? New York Giants gave quarterback Russell Wilson a 1 year contract with $10.5 million guaranteed. The structure of those guarantees is interesting. Wilson has a $2 million base salary, an $8 million signing bonus, and $500,000 workout bonus. He'll need to participate in roughly 85% of the offseason program to earn that bonus. Now, just all things in the past. Obviously I don't have a crystal ball and all that stuff, but all things in the past are pointing in the direction that he'll be there. I don't see him not being in those off-season programs and all that stuff. And so, you can pretty much pencil him in for that $500,000. Such a large portion of the compensation coming from a signing bonus is unusual for the Giants. The split between base salary and signing bonus had been far different in similar 1 year contracts awarded by this regime. Although the circumstances were far different, the compensation in running back Saquon Barkley's revised 1 year deal, $10.1 million contract in 2023 was most comparable to Wilson's deal. Barkley had an $8.1 million base salary and $2 million signing bonus. $8 million base salary, $2 million signing bonus. It's reversed for Wilson. He has a $2 million base salary and an $8 million signing bonus. Quarterback Drew Lock signed a 1 year, $5 million contract last offseason with $2.95 million base salary, and a $2 million signing bonus. Paris Campbell, 1 year, $4.7 million contract in 2023, had a $1.4 million base salary and a $1.5 million signing bonus with another $1.8 million in workout and roster bonuses. To have these signing bonus would make more sense if the Giants were using void years, because that would allow them to spread the $8 million to a lower cap hit this season. Like they could put literally four void years onto the end of the contract. Or if they wanted to put 3 onto the end of the contract, right? And they got this season, then they could take that $8 million. This is what the Eagles do. This is why the Eagles have one of the reasons why the Eagles have such a good roster. They have all these guys that make all this money, but they just spread out all the money over all these void years. A lot of the other teams don't want to do that because you're kicking the can down the road. Giants don't want to do that. A lot of teams don't want to do that. the Eagles do that. It paid off for the Eagles. If it don't pay off for the Eagles, they're screwing themselves in the future years, but it worked out for them, right? Anyway, I can't stand the Eagles, so I don't want to talk about them anymore. But, so Russell Wilson, his $8 million signing bonus, right? He's a one-year contract. And if you put, say, 3 void years on it, right, you can spread that I believe the signing bonus out over the 4 years. It would be $2 million for this season, 2, 2, and 2. So that means his salary this season would be $2 million base salary, of $2 million signing bonus, and a $500,000 workout, right? So that means his salary this season will only be $4.5 million instead of the $10.5 million. But the Giants aren't doing that. The $2 million base salary and an $8 million signing bonus, which is all on this season. So it's why are they giving it such a big signing bonus if they can't spread it out? If it's not beneficial, it's not helping might not be helping the Giants out. Right? Give me a second here. They could have added 3 void years to reduce the cap hit by $6 million this season, while leaving that amount in dead money on next year's cap. That's what the Giants did on a 1-year, $5.3 million contract with tackle A'Shawn Robinson in 2023. Giants added 3 void years to push $2.1 million of his $2.8 million signing bonus off into the 2023 cap. But there are no indications the Giants are using void years with Wilson's contract. So what's up? Doesn't matter how the Giants restructure Wilson's contract since he's getting all $10.5 million this season. So why would they alter their typical structure? Maybe the Giants were just being benevolent by giving Wilson the majority of his payments sooner, right? Instead of his base salary, he gets a base salary, he gets so much money. Maybe said, well, we'll give you an $8 million, so that way you have $8 million in your pocket right now, right? And as the season goes along, you get $2 million, 17 weeks. So each week you're going to get a paycheck of whatever, a little over $100,000 or something like that. But we'll give you $8 million up front. Maybe that's what it was. Base salaries are typically paid out in equal installments over the 18 weeks of the regular season. So basically, he's going to get $2 million guaranteed over 18 weeks. So each week he's going to get a check for a little over $100,000. Based on the way the Giants pay signing bonuses, Wilson will likely receive portions of the signing bonus in separate payments in April, June, and August. There's another possible reason for the structure. Things don't go well, Wilson's $2 million base salary will make him inevitably tradable. It's not a stretch to imagine a scenario where the Giants are 2-7 again at the trade deadline, with the team wanting to give a young quarterback an extended trial. The Giants and Wilson would both benefit from a separation at that point, and with Wilson only carrying a $1 million salary for the second half of the season, he could be attracted to a contending team with an injured starter or in need of a better backup. So if, right, say anybody, right, wanted to trade for Russell Wilson, right, well, we'll give you a 5th-round pick for Russell Wilson. We'll give you a 5th-round pick. You give us Russell Wilson. We got Russell Wilson for the second half of the season, a borderline Hall of Fame quarterback, right? We can use him as the backup. It's only going to cost us $1 million. Makes him tradable. Now, even if the Giants have used more conventional split with, say, a $6 million base salary and a $4 million signing bonus, they could just eat some of his salary to facilitate a trade, which is true too. So maybe there's nothing suspicious about the structure of Wilson's guarantee, but it's at least an interesting departure from the Giants' typical practice. It is. It is. And we got future starter. Winston signed a 2-year, $8 million contract to be Wilson's backup. Winston signed a 2-year, $8 million deal. Winston gets $5.3 million guaranteed, including a $2 million signing bonus. Winston was seeking an opportunity to be a starter or a bridge starter for a team with a young quarterback this offseason. When those opportunities weren't presented, he signed with the Giants, even though he knew a veteran like Wilson could be added to be the starter. Winston made an interesting comment that he could have that starter bridge opportunity in the future with the Giants. That scenario could unfold if the Giants draft the quarterback this year or next year. Wilson is on a one-year deal, so Winston is the only quarterback under contract for 2026 because Tommy Chicken Cutlet Parmesan's only signed for this year. Russell Wilson's only signed for this year. We haven't drafted a quarterback yet, so. Meaning that Winston, he's positioned to be the veteran bridge if there's a young quarterback added sometime over the next year. Winston's situation is similar to that of Tyrod Taylor, who signed a 2-year, $11 million contract with the Giants in 2022. Starter Daniel Jones was in the final year of his contract when Taylor signed. Seemed like the Giants were preparing for Taylor to serve as the bridge for 2023. They had moved on from Jones and drafted a quarterback. Of course, that's not how it played out. We all know that. But that thought process behind Winston's 2-year deal seems appealing now, right? One hope for the offense. It's obvious that the Giants are pinning their hopes for offensive improvement on their belief in their quarterback upgrade. The other 10 starters from the 31st ranked offense are returning. They're the 31st ranked offense. We got all the starters coming back. Oh, my God. Right? Giants could add reinforcements in the draft, but there isn't a clear spot for a rookie to start, which is true. Especially with the Giants potentially using the top picks on defensive and or quarterback, which is true. I mean, there's nobody, right? You look at that, right? It's like, I mean, as pathetic as this is, right? It's the 31st ranked offense. Now, don't get me wrong. Tim Boyle, Tommy Chicken Cutlet Parmesan, right? Daniel Jones, Drew. I mean, we had we had 300 quarterbacks last season. We had 10 different starting offensive lines. That had a lot to do with it. We didn't bring back Saquon. Right, another conversation for another day. But but the 31st ranked offense, and we're bringing everybody back. That's a little scary. But we did bring in a new quarterback. So, but if you think about it, right? I mean, the only place that I could see a starter, I mean, would be like if the Giants shocked the world and took a running back in the first or second round, right? If they took Hunter, if Hunter fell to him at 3 and they picked Hunter at 3. Maybe being a starter, maybe at the other wide receiver position, maybe bumping Slayton off this, whatever. I don't know. But there's really not a whole heck of a lot, as far as the Giants, starting possibilities. I mean, this is not a draft for centers, not a draft for guards. We're going to go over guards in just a second here. Show you how pathetic this guard class is. Unless you draft the tackle and you want to slide them inside, but it's just specifically guards. This is not the draft for that. But I mean, it just we got Theo Johnson. He's our starting tight end, right? So as crazy as that is, I mean, we brought back 10 of the 11 starters from last season, right? And on the 31st ranked offense. So, man, that's crazy. Giants' confidence in their offensive line is apparent with the same 5 starters returning. Now, as I said, once again, the beginning of the year, the first, 5 games or so, when all the 5 guys were working together, we were not that bad. We actually won a couple games, right? Team's internal belief is that this unit was playing well before left tackle Andrew Thomas suffered a season-ending Lisfranc injury in Week 6. Now, let's just hope that Andrew Thomas, one of these years, the next 4, 5, 6, 7 years, whatever that is with it, one of these years he can actually stay healthy all season long. Wouldn't that be unbelievable? Giants allowed 2.3 sacks per game in the first 6 games. 2.3. I'm not a rocket scientist. So 17-17, we 34. 0.3 would be another third. It'd be 39 sacks given up all season long at that rate. 2.3 sacks per game. 39 sacks. We can deal with that. Which ranked 13th in the league. 2.3 sacks first 6 games. 13th in the league. We're in the upper half. They allowed 3.1 sacks per game in the final 11 games. But, I mean, that's with all those different, offensive line units. 3.1, so that's not bad. That's 51 sacks. That's not great. But, so when they gave up 3.1 sacks per game over the final 11 games, that ranked 27th. They allowed 14.5 pressures in the first 6 games, which was tied for 27th. They allowed 15.3 pressures per game in the final 11 games, which ranked 29th. The run blocking actually improved as the season progressed. The Giants averaged 3.9 yards per carry in the first 6 games, which ranked 29th. They averaged 4.4 yards per carry in the final 11 games, which ranked 14th. Now, also, let's not forget, right, who started those first 5-6 games or so? Motor Singletary. Who started those final 10, 11 games or so? Tyrone Tracy Jr. So that might have something to do with it, too. Plus, also might have something to do with why Tyrone Tracy is the starter now, right? Plus, he's a good receiver. So the numbers reflect that Thomas's absence was felt in the pass protection, but the unit was still merely mediocre when he was in the lineup. At the annual league meetings this last week, General Manager Joe Shane said the offensive line was playing well enough for us to win with Thomas. That's despite their 2-4 record in those games. So 2-4, and we finished, right? We finished 3-14. Right? So over the final 11 games, we won 1. Let's see. So that's despite their 2-4 record in the first 6 games, which is further evidence that all of the last season's offensive failures are being blamed on quarterback Daniel Jones. Shane said swing tackle was an important position to address this offseason. So they gave James Hudson, right, for me a swing tackle. The Giants also prioritized re-signing Craig Van Roten, whom Shane called a glue guy, to a 1-year, $3.3 million contract after missing out on a high-priced Will Fries in free agency. Daboll committed to John Michael Schmitz as the starting center. But let's also not forget, maybe Neal slides in. Let's hope. They try him at guard, try the guy at guard. Shane hinted that more offensive line help could be coming in the draft. Now, they would be crazy not to pick an offensive lineman in this draft. The problem is, one of the problems the Giants have had, and it just seems like it's had for a while, is anytime we draft, a lot of time we draft somebody later on, they just, they ain't no good. We were supposed to get a Zudu, right? Maybe or McKeithen, right? One of a Parrot, one of those guys, right? Yeah, right now, well, we draft them in, 3rd, 4th, 5th round, whatever. We'll develop them, right? Give them a couple of years developing, boom, plug them in there. We're good to go. Nope. We even draft guys in the first round and they have a hard time, right? I mean, we just don't develop offensive linemen. But they would be crazy because they didn't do it last season, right? Didn't draft an offensive lineman last season, right? So they would be crazy, right? Because we took what? Wide receiver, right? Cornerback, safety, tight end, running back, linebacker, right? No offensive line, no defensive lineman, no offensive lineman. So we would be crazy this season not to add a defensive lineman / edge rusher, whatever you want to call it, and an offensive lineman. But we got to draft somebody that we can develop, and we got to develop these freaking guys. We can't constantly spending 1st and 2nd round picks on offensive linemen and hope and pray they can't do that. Can't do that. All right. Defensive deficiencies. The Giants' run defense was a pain point last season. They finished 27th in rushing yards allowed and tied for 23rd in yards per carry allowed. Curiously, the run defense improved drastically late in the season after the defensive tackle Dexter Lawrence and inside linebacker Bobby Okereke were lost to injuries. Giants allowed 5.1 yards per carry through the first 13 weeks of the season, which was tied for the most in the league. They allowed 3.5 yards per carry from weeks 14 to 18 without Lawrence and Okereke. Go figure that one, huh? Which ranked 4th in the league. Go frickin' figure. Giants' biggest free agency signings came in the secondary with a 3-year, $54 million contract for cornerback Paulson Daboll and a 3-year, $45.3 million contract, right, with Javon Holland. So, but, it's interesting. It is an interesting, with Russell Wilson, right? Very interesting with his contract. I said it would make him. I said if the wheels start falling off the bus toward the end of the season, right? Or by the trade deadline, right? He's only owed maybe about $1 million left to go on his contract, right? Make him very tradable. For $1 million, a team gives you like a 5th or 6th round pick or whatever it is for Wilson. They use him for the rest of the season. They have the backup or whatever it is for one of these teams trying to make a playoff push, or if one of these teams got a real good team like the Eagles or the Chiefs or somebody like that, and their starter goes down, get Wilson in there, right? Maybe they just continue the team on to the playoffs, right? For only $1 million. Right, they give $1 million and they ante up a 5th or 6th round pick or something like that to the Giants. So it's interesting. Very, very interesting. The Giants with their the $8 million signing bonus that they gave to Russell Wilson. That is interesting. But speaking of, get over here. I mean, this class here, I'll tell you what, this is. I said, unless, there's guys out, I've seen a couple guys like per PFF, right? Because you always get these, the tackles, their arms aren't quite long enough against these freakish athletic edge rushers, right? And they might want to kick the tackles inside, right? Which winds up happening. So there is that possibility, but just pure guards, just according to PFF, this is not the class for that. Buyer beware, shall I just say? Now I'm going to let me share my screen here. Pop this up here and just show you. I mean, PFF has. All right, here we go. All right, share the screen here. All right, here we go. Okay, now, okay, it just goes to show you, PFF, right? They have Travis Hunter ranked number 1 and Abdul Carter number 2. Now, one of these two guys should be there for the Giants at number 3. Let's hope that we go out of our way and take one of them. But let's go to the guards position, guard, right? And after this, we're going to go to another position. I'm going to pick 2 positions out here to talk about tonight. But this one right here, guard. All right, Tyler Booker. Okay, he's the guy in the thumbnail from Alabama. They got him as the 47th ranked player overall. Okay, now look what he, right? I mean, if you look at him, okay, he's from Alabama, right? Last season, he graded out a 66.5. 2023 graded out a 72.5, and 2022 he graded out a 67.1, right? Booker has some foot speed, and balance issues that keep him from being a blue chip prospect, but there is still a lot to like as a powerful, well-built, competitive, and high football IQ guard prospect for a man gap heavy run scheme. The Giants do best when they with the zone. Well, or shall I say, I can't say that. Evan Neal did a phenomenal job with zone run blocking. So the Giants might be more leaning toward a zone, maybe, right, than possibly a gap, right, heavy run scheme. But the Giants also picked number 47. They're not looking for a guard, right? The Giants have they got 3, 34, and 65, 99, and 105. Now that doesn't mean this guy Tyler Booker is going to get picked with the 47th overall pick. He get taken in the second round. He can get taken in the third round. Who knows? But then you'll notice this huge. This once again, this is all strictly PFF. That's all this is. Okay. But you'll notice this huge gap here, right, between number 47 and the next rated guard that they have, Tate Ratledge from Georgia, right? 6'6", 320, big human being, okay? But once again, I mean, he's from Georgia. I mean, these guys should be grading out pretty good, right? He graded out a 74.4, which was the 43rd guard ranked in the whole country. 2023, he was 76.2, and 2022, he was 69.1. So we're not talking, there ain't no blue chipper guards here, right? Tate Ratledge isn't the most dynamic athlete, but his solid pass blocking technique and downhill power in the run game give him a chance to be give him a chance. Now, once again, that's something, the Giants have not done a very good job of. Okay, I'll just be straight on honest with you. Not done a good job developing offensive linemen. Right? I mean, we've drafted quite a few offensive linemen, obviously over the past so many years. A lot of them we don't resign, like a Will Hernandez. A lot of guys don't even want it making it to the end, like McKeith. You draft somebody in the 5th round, hey, they got a chance. They got it. You tell me we got a chance, right? Nope, not McKeith, right? Took a Zudu early on. It's like guy came and cracked the starting 5. What are we doing? Right. So the Giants don't do a very good job at developing offensive linemen. And you go out here and you start. I mean, this guy here. I mean, this guy here, Willie Lampkin, could wind up doing well with a team that develops offensive linemen well, good offensive line coaches and all that stuff. Maybe he might do well with another team. He could probably do well with the Giants, right? Plus, he's only 5'11", not very tall. But he did grade out at the 5th highest graded guard, right, at 85.6. But Lampkin's size is certainly concerning. It could relegate him back to a center, where he played just one game over the past 2 seasons. His technique and determination should give him a chance to prove his worth in the NFL for 5 years of outstanding college tape under his belt. So he's 5 years of college tape. Then we have Luke Condra from Cincinnati at the 155th ranked player coming out as a guard, right? Connor Colby from Iowa. Obviously, Iowa, they good running game, right? He's 173rd ranked player. Tyler Cooper from Minnesota, 175th. So I mean, what we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 guys, according to PFF. They got 6 guys ranked in the top 200 are guards. So that means like out of every 100, 3 of them are guards. Top 100, there's like about 3 guards. Picks 101 to 200, whatever, 3 of them are guards. So there ain't much love for guards. This is not the year to want a guard. This is a good year for the Giants. I talked about this before. We got John Runyon Jr. We signed him, right? 4 years, right? We might be able to get out after 3 or whatever, but we got him for 4 years. Let's hope he can stay healthy this season. So hopefully we have our right guard. Hopefully have our left guard for a few more years. That'd be fantastic. This is the season. Let's try Evan Neal. We're not going to the Super Bowl. I got newsflash. Not going to the Super Bowl this year. Let's try Evan Neal at guard, right? This way, if you want to keep him, because it would just, to me anyway, it'd be just stone cold crazy just to keep him as a tackle. Because you're not picking up his 5th-year option as a tackle. I don't see that happening. You're not you give him an extended. I could see him hitting the open market. Another team like the Eagles, what they did with Mekhi Becton. Bring Evan Neal in. Hey, Evan, we'll bring you in. Right, you're going to be a guard though. Okay, you got one of the best offensive line coaches, Jeff Stoutland. Right. He's going to make you a fantastic guard. We'll put you a guard. We'll have you for 1 year, right? We're going to make you, really good. If we don't re-sign you, you're going to have a good year. When you hit the open market the following season, you're going to make yourself some money because we're going to make you look good at guard, right? I could see that happening. So the Giants would be just stone cold crazy because the Giants aren't going to resign Evan Neal at tackle, right? So this would be the year to try McGuard, and that you'll know, right? You'll know if he's your guard for the future, right? I mean, it's only his fourth season, right? If you know you got your guard for at least the next 3, 4, 5 years, why not, right? What the heck? So, but this is not the season. This good year for tackles. If the Giants, if they're enamored with one of these tackles, maybe in the third round, somewhere around there, right? I mean, if they think they're going to slide Evan Neal in, they got Illuminor for one more season, right? Take it is a good year for tackles, right? If they think Neal could be the guard for the future, Illuminor is this his final season, he'll be gone. You got your tackle. You have your tackle in waiting. I mean, it's a good year for tackles. I don't know. I don't know if next year is or not. That I don't know. But this is a good year for tackles. But not a good year for guards. Not even close. Now this one here. Okay. Now, this is going to be interesting here for the Giants. Okay. If they don't, okay, I'm going to share my screen once again. If they don't get Carter, or if Carter's there and they don't take Carter, right? This might be somewhere along the lines. Maybe the Giants, I'm not saying first or second round, but might want to dip into, maybe a linebacker prospect, right? But if because they're not getting this guy, there's a couple guys they're not getting. They could take him, but they'd be crazy. But anyway, but if they do take Carter, okay, I mean he's somebody that could possibly be used as an off-ball linebacker, right? So if they would take Carter at number 3, I think the thoughts of taking another linebacker anywhere along the line that might be kind of off the board, I think. But let me share and show you the let's see, share screen once again. Oh, there we go, big draft board. Okay, we'll go back. This is the guards once again. Okay, so let's go here. We'll go to linebackers. Okay. So we got Jihad Campbell, the Giants could take at number 3, but it's not happening. Okay. Now, the thing is you start talking about, if they were not to take Carter at number 3, or if Carter gets taken at number 2 and the Giants, they take Hunter or whatever it is, right? The Giants still might be, might think about maybe somewhere along the line taking maybe a linebacker. Possibly, right? Now you got Jalen Walker, but the thing is, he's probably going to wind up going quite possibly in the first round. If not, if Walker makes it to the second round, is that something the Giants are going to be want to take a linebacker in the second? I don't see that. Possibly they'll be looking to take a quarterback in the second round. If not, or maybe somebody else, but I can't say. We got McFadden, you got a Karake, right? I can't say where Jalen Walker would wind up, drafting him, right? Then you do notice that there is a drop off here with Demetrius Knight Jr. of the Gamecocks. Knight will be one of the oldest prospects in the 2025 draft. But he is a mature player and a good processing and fundamentally sound tackler. His run defense angles can be a bit over-aggressive, but you'll take that trade-off due to how well he moves in coverage and when pursuing ball carriers. Then you got Carson Swessinger. He's light for an NFL linebacker, only 225. But his elite processing speed and intelligence give him a starter and impact ability as a micro will linebacker for a 4-3 defense. You got Chris Paul Jr. from Ole Miss. Let's let's see. Paul needs to add some mass to his frame, but he can eventually become a starting will linebacker in the league thanks to his athleticism and intelligence. Jeffrey Bassa from Oregon. Bassa is an intriguing former safety who now has a home in the linebacker level. Despite his lower weight for the position, he is not shy about making contact or doing dirty work. He is a smooth mover, but does lack some twitch, which can be mitigated with continued improvement and anticipation. A vocal leader in Oregon, he could be a nice coverage linebacker in any scheme. Then you got Barrett Carter from Clemson. While he needs to get stronger, Carter is an athletic, versatile defender who can be a valuable chess piece for a defense as a weak side linebacker. Then you got these other guys who they haven't quite come out with scouting summaries on. Jack Kaiser, Kobe King, Cody Simon, Cody Lindenberg, right? But you'll notice here, right? So in the top 200, okay, for inside like linebackers, right? You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You got 12. So basically what you got, like the linebackers here, that at the top 200, you got 12 of them that, according to PFF, the linebackers, the top 200, 12 of them, right? Which is still not super phenomenal, but it's a lot better than the guards. I mean, once again, I think it's all up to what happens with Carter. Okay, if Carter falls to us at number 3, and if we do decide to take him, not sure if we're going to need to dip our toe into the linebacker position for this draft anyway. Because once again, I mean, we got Carter. Carter, you kind of use him as an edge rusher. He was used as an off-ball linebacker, right? I said, then we still got McFadden, we got a Karake. So, could we use some depth there? Absolutely. But I think it'd be more important for us in those 3rd round picks, that 4th round pick at what was it, 105. Let's hit some of those other areas first instead of like trying to get a depth at linebacker or something like that. I mean, if one of our last picks, if we wind up taking a linebacker who just sticks out like a sore thumb in one of our later round picks, okay. But one of those, as I said, once again, 3, 34, 65, 99, and 105. One of those first 5 picks. If it's not Carter at 3, I don't see us taking one early on because we have so many other needs that we could really use, something. But it's a good class, nothing phenomenal. But as I said, once again, I think it all hinges on what happens with Carter, number 3. If we take him, if he's there at number 3, and we take him, right, I don't see the Giants needing a linebacker because we still have a couple guys coming back, right? As I said, we got McFadden, we got Muasau, right? Who Muasau filled in pretty well toward the end of the season. Let me say, I mean, we brought Johnson back. Let's see here. 2025. Let me see. This works out. New York Giants depth chart. Okay, there we go. Let's try this here. ESPN. When does this come out here? Let's give this one a try. Okay, yeah, here we go. Yep. Our lads. Very good. Outstanding, guys. Outstanding. Our lads. Very, very good. Okay, so we got inside linebacker Mike McFadden. We got Chris Board, who's very good special teamer. Deontay Johnson, right? Ty Summers, we brought him back too. Bobby Okereke, Darius Muasau, Demetrius Fowles Flanagan. Let's see. Yeah. So, I mean, we got guys. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got 7 guys. Yeah. So, once again, I said, could we add somebody? Absolutely. But it's not a huge position of need right now. We could go through this draft class. I said, especially because I said last season, right? Remember, we didn't take anybody on the defensive front. We didn't take anybody in the offensive line either, right? I'd hate to see us go 2 drafts in a row without drafting an offensive lineman and a defensive lineman. I think that would just be stone cold crazy. All right, guys, it's been almost 1 hour and 50 minutes of me just shooting my mouth off. Anybody spent any time listening to me live? Thank you, thank you, thank you. Or if anybody's going to spend any time watching the replay, this once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. As always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants! Woo! Oh, yeah.